You know, it's Delhi's moment as well as it's India's moment. What we're going to do is we're going to go onwards and pick up our first line of guests. Our Foreign Affairs Editor, Geeta Mohan, along with former diplomats, would be joining us next. As we make our way to Pragati Maidan, capturing the sights and sounds of the national capital, I want to bring in our Foreign Affairs Editor, Geeta Mohan, for a larger understanding, Geeta. For those of us, because it's the first time that India is hosting the G20 Summit, can you give us, for those who are not well versed with what is the G20, a quick crash course on what is the G20 and the importance of G20.
It no longer is only an economic forum. There's so much of politics involved. To get a perspective on how things have changed, let's just go across to Ambassador Prabhu.
Now, you rightly said, Geeta, that the G20 was conceived of as an economic organization. The focus was on economic integration and strengthening of cooperation between different member states on the economic areas. But you know, economics is very closely intertwined with politics. As you rightly said, it is now doing it more strongly than ever because the Russia-Ukraine war has divided the members of the G20. There is the United States and its Western allies on one side. There is China and Russia on the other. So, because of the political divisions, the geo-economic activities are also being impacted.
Also the political intonation, sir. Look at it not just through the prism of Russia-Ukraine war. Look at how this thing has been hyped up because of the India-China tensions. It's not just West versus China anymore. It's India versus China too. Xi Jinping not coming, while, the administration would say is not unusual, it certainly is a departure from the past. This is the first time that Xi Jinping is not attending a G20 summit.
You're right. The tensions between China and India, which have escalated in recent months, certainly may have been a factor in Xi Jinping staying away from this G20 summit. But there are other factors too. For instance, the United States-China dialogue has reached such a stage where I think Xi Jinping wants to talk to Biden at a time and place of his own choosing. Then again, China uses these multilateral organizations to enhance its influence. The G20 setting here in India would not have permitted him to be able to successfully play that role.
You know, it's interesting because I want to ask you, Ambassador, the sheer fact, are we to look at this summit taking place in India as India being, the playground of the new Cold War, or the emerging of a new world order, which many are also talking about? Because there's no Putin, there's no Xi Jinping, but there's, of course, Biden, there is Mr. Rishi Sunak.
I would put it this way. It is not a playground for geopolitics, but it is certainly an arena where India is showing its global importance. It gives an opportunity for India to show how it can shepherd the interests of the developing countries. India has time and again been emphasizing that it lays great importance to the interests of the global south. Though, of course, there are many in the Western world who even question this concept of the global south. But nonetheless, we are trying to help the developing countries. So it is enabling us to be able to play the sort of role which we would like to play in the international arena, but we are not able to play such a role in the United Nations because for a variety of reasons we are not even admitted as a permanent member of the UN Security Council.
Thank you, Ambassador, and I hope you and your wife had a good ride on our hop on and hop off G20
It was a great
bus.
pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you and appreciate for you to join us.